Hello, everyone. My name is Vlad, and today I and my colleague Sagar wanted to talk to you about SAP EDI integration using AWS B2B Data Interchange. As many of you know, EDI is used to exchange critical business documents in major SAP industries such as transportation and logistics, manufacturing, or retail. In this exchange, an SAP system is almost always a source and destination of information that is contained in these EDI documents. The major challenge here is that SAP ERP cannot directly interpret and process common EDI standards, such as X12 or EDIFACT, and requires an EDI subsystem to convert EDI documents to and from IDoc format, a proprietary SAP format for business documents. AWS B2B Data Interchange, or as we call it, B2BI, is exactly this kind of service. At a very high level, it can take an EDI document that you receive from your trading partner and convert it into an IDoc that you can ingest into SAP. And vice versa, it can take an IDoc generated by SAP and convert it into an EDI document that you can send back to your trading partner. There are four main reasons why SAP customers choose B2BI for their SAP integrated EDI workloads. First, B2BI allows to develop SAP integrated EDI workloads with no custom SAP development. All customization is done in B2BI. This allows to keep SAP deployment clean, which helps with SAP upgrades and migrations. Moreover, B2BI uses the same familiar pan-AWS mechanisms and approaches. This enables engineers familiar with AWS to develop EDI workloads. No niche knowledge is required. Second, B2BI uses GenAI to help develop mapping between EDI documents and non-edocs, which significantly simplifies mapping. What historically took months and quarters to create mapping between EDI documents and SAP iDocs can now be done in a matter of hours and days, leveraging generative AI. Sagar will show you how this functionality works in a demo that he prepared in just a second. Third, our pay-as-you-go pricing model allows to control your costs and only pay for what you use and need. This is unique since most legacy EDI platforms require multi-year fixed price and locked contract terms. Last, but definitely not least, with B2BI's native integration with multiple AWS services, such as AWS Step Functions and AWS Lambda, you have endless ways and opportunities to customize your EDI workload to ensure it perfectly matches your unique requirements. But enough talking. My colleague Sagar will now show you how you can use B2BI to work with your SAP ERP by automating the transformation of X12 documents to and from SAP's iDoc format. Sagar, over to you.
Thank you, Vlad. Hi, I'm Sagar Pragada, Senior Worldwide Specialist Solutions Architect with focus on SAP application modernization. Today, we want to show you how to generate X12 EDI files from SAP iDocs. We can start with outbound architecture. For outbound processing from SAP system can be ECC or S4HANA. SAP can publish iDocs through standard XML HTTP port configuration. iDocs can be triggered by various business document events such as creation, modification, or status changes across multiple modules, including but not limited to sales orders, invoices, purchase orders, goods receipt, accounting documents, etc. This is achieved through standard SAP configuration without requiring absolutely no custom development. The destination points to AWS API Gateway, which provides a public endpoint maintained in SM59, and the Lambda behind it reads the file and places it in S3 bucket. B2B Data Interchange service picks up the file and converts into X12 format and places the file in target S3 bucket. From there, it can be sent to vendors via SFTP AS2 using AWS Transfer Family Services. Let me show you the key components of such solution, starting with XML port configuration SAP. In transaction W21, here is our XML HTTP port, API GW, API Gateway. When I double click on API GW, which is RFC destination, it takes us to transaction SM59, where we configure the destination API Gateway URL. Here is the partner configuration W20. Here we have the partner type LS and our partner profile B2B EDI. For the message type, we are using invoice, and for the basic type, we are using standard invoice 02. and the receiver port is API GW, which we saw previously. This standard configuration ensures that whenever an invoice is created or changed, the IDOC automatically flows to AWS through our configured channel. Let's move on to the B2B Data Interchange Transformer, which is at the heart of our solution and handles conversion from a nested XML IDOC structure to X12 flat file format. I'll create a new transformer that converts an XML invoice IDOC into X12 invoice EDI document. To help with mapping between these two very different formats, I'll use a pair of sample documents. After providing the samples, I just click on the next button. Historically, mapping took days and up to weeks of time, but with B2BA GenAI capability, this could be reduced to minutes. GenAI develops an XSLT mapping code that converts IDOC XML into X12 format. The accuracy of this mapping is very high. 95% of lines are matching accurately. Diffs are only in technical header segments, as you can see here, therefore are insignificant. GenAI also picked up the nested structure of IDOC and created loops and subroutines in the mapping code that takes into account for future extensibility. The generated XSLT also comes with GenAI generated clear comments explaining the transformation logic, making it highly maintainable. Let's see this solution in action end-to-end by creating an outbound invoice document in SAP and processing it in AWS. In transaction WE19, this IDOC has two line items. I'll select standard outbound processing. In production environment, this would be triggered automatically when an invoice is created or changed based on your SAP configuration. Notice we are using API gateway on the XML HTTP port. When I hit continue, perfect. It successfully sent our IDOCs to AWS. IDOC got saved into the database. Now let's look it up in B2B's reporting table that shows all processed files and is a single pane of glass into all transformations, their timelines and statuses. Here it is. Within seconds of receiving the XML IDOC, we have our EDI file generated. And transformation status is success. Let me download and compare them side by side. As you can see, the transformer successfully converted our complex IDOC structure into properly formatted EDI document. The beauty of this approach is that once you configure, it runs automatically. Your SAP system triggers IDOCs using standard functionality, and AWS services handle all the complex transformation and delivery logic. Whether you need to send to multiple partners, handle different document types, or route based on content, it's all managed outside SAP, keeping your core clean and maintainable.
Thank you, Sagar, for showing us how to set up and automate EDI transformations for SAP iDocs using AWS native services such as B2BI. There is only so much that we can show in a short video, so if you would want to learn a bit more, we have plenty of resources. For those interested in learning more about the business challenges B2BI helps solve and key functionality, feel free to explore our product page. For those interested in learning more about how to configure B2BI, feel free to explore our usage guide. For those interested in learning more about how to build end-to-end EDI workflows using B2BI and AWS Transfer Family, we have a self-paced interactive workshop. Thank you.